Yubsy.
1 sec, baby. I'm tying my shoe.
Was that with the broken toe?
Alrighty.
What's
Dev.
happening?
Dude, I'm sorry. Dude. I got in the door 8 minutes ago, dog. 8 minutes ago I got in.
What were you doing? Busy day?
Bro, busy day. Listen to this. So, first of all, woke up early, jacked up for today. I couldn't sleep. So I was just like really like anxious, on edge. And then on top of that, I was getting observed today in school, which means the boss lady's got to come around and see how Mr. Z does, in front of the kiddos. Thankfully, that went well. And then after that, we got a flag football game. It just never ends, man.
How'd the team do? How'd the squad do?
How'd the squad do? We took home the victory, bro. Come on now. Yo,
Okay.
you think
Okay.
you think Zachy would lead the boys into battle and come home with losses regularly?
Hey, man, they happen, man. Just like my Steelers, bro. Losing to the freaking Cincinnati Bengals. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That was a tough look, honestly.
Yeah.
That was a really, really tough look. All right, so we're gonna give a couple people just a couple seconds to get in here.
Well, until that, tell me what you've been up to this week, dude.
This
Anything
week,
big?
brother, other than flag football, school's been going good, keeping me really, really busy. Dude, I'm telling you, man, there's a difference between I think I'm more tired teaching 8 hours a day than working manual labor. Let's just say for 12 to 14, because bro, it's the overstimulation, man. I hear Mr. Z 800 times a day.
Mr. Z, Mr. Z.
No, and it's just sometimes it's just some of the most ridiculous stuff. I'm just like, all right, so I'm just making sure. How does the lighting look? I was a little dark last week. I'm not really sure how I'm looking right now. How do I look? All right.
You gotta invest in one of them ring light type things.
Listen, we're working on it. That's the plan. All right. So I'm gonna give everyone another minute. All right. So big things to talk about today.
To the shore, journey to the shore, baby.
Yeah, Dev, as you know a lot about me, I've lived a very, very, very crazy life, and a lot of people I think were kind of curious and wondering as to maybe why I got this episode started, or kind of this podcast started. And I think after today's episode, I think the viewers are going to get a very, very good idea and a very, very good understanding as to why I'm doing this, a little bit more about my backstory, my mental health, and overall the reason as to why I'm doing this and putting myself out there. Because I'll be honest with you, I was nervous all week, man. So I'm going to say a lot of things today that I think people are going to be. Sorry, I'm. People are going to be surprised about. I think some people are going to be shocked. I think some people who kind of lived through part of this with me are going to be like, oh man, I remember those days, especially some of my Massapequa boys, dating back then. And then I think that some people are just going to want to give me a big hug tomorrow, honestly, because what I'm about to share, I think might touch some people, and that's the purpose of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just wanted to take, this week's episode 3, as a chance to kind of share my story and to try and help break the stigma of mental health, bipolar disorder, and everything in between. So, hey, I'm just going to take a deep breath. I'm going to, gather myself a little bit, and then
yeah, man, you got this.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on. I know you're at work right now. You in the scrubs right now? Or are you looking all fancy?
Yeah. I had to take off my name tag, anything anywhere I work. But yeah, I'm in the scrubs. They got me on the night shift right now, and they had me for the past 2 weeks. I didn't even expect me to be this week, so I apologize for missing last week. And this week, I almost thought I was gonna have to miss it, but after this week, we're back to normal program. So
Good,
Um,
dude. I was about to have to put out like a navigating the noise job opportunity on Indeed. I was getting a little
oh,
nervous.
come on, who's
Nah,
replacing?
I'm just,
One of the requirements got to be a ginger.
yo, that's true. If you're not a ginger, you're automatically disqualified, right? Nah.
Yeah,
Shout out to my boy Vinny Vin in the chat. I think that's my boy Prasad, who I used to work with at my old school. So Prasad, thanks for being here. Yo, I love Prasad. I dropped in the link literally like 7 seconds ago, and he's here. That's a brother right there. And yo, Prasad, you're actually part of this story, so you could actually kind of tell the chat whether or not I'm lying or not, because I'm about to say some pretty wild stuff, and I'm telling you, some of y'all aren't gonna believe what I'm about to say, like genuinely.
okay, so with the story, every story has a beginning. So where would you say everything first started off?
Um, honestly, let's just start from the beginning because honestly, oh, is that Miss Louisa in here? Oh, Miss Louisa, you made it. Oh, I love it. Thanks for coming, baby. Oh, it's so nice when yo, Deb, I think we're gonna have a nice crowd today. I'm hoping,
Nice, nice.
because, yeah, man. So let me get it started. So, grew up, like I said, in Massapequa Park, which is a very nice town on Long Island on the border of Nassau and Suffolk County. Also, if I look exhausted and shot, it's because I am. So for those of you who are like, yo, you need to look better in the mic and maybe groom yourself. Like I got home 7 minutes ago and I'm not playing with you. You could ask you, Deb, what was I lying? I was literally in the Uber texting you.
Yeah, I was waiting for the link. I'm like, buddy
And
might be a
Exact
few
Z
minutes
is
late.
running a little late. Sheesh. But grew up in a great town of Massapequa. All right. I would say middle class to upper middle class. Very Caucasian white. Great school district, very safe neighborhood. Honestly, the ideal place that you'd really want to grow up. And up until I was about 7 or 8 years old, maybe a little younger, I have some good memories, man. I mean, I'm the oldest of four boys. So I have Dalton, who's 28 years old. I have Jake, who's fully autistic. So he actually currently lives in a group home in Northport, very well taken care of. But he is currently 27. And then my youngest brother, Garrett, who is 24. So four boys. I'm the oldest of four. And I mean, as you can imagine, Dev, the competition growing up was insane. I
Oh, especially
mean,
by the same age, of course. Every
Dev, my poor mother, bro. I mean, first of all, every week would be at least $200 to $300 worth of groceries. I'm not talking like week. Like, dude, we were huge. Look, dude, I'm a big dog, bro. What do you, dude? I was like a
he was
12-pound baby, like so. Very competitive growing up, always fighting over the last cheese stick in the drawer, who was going to be pitching when we were playing wiffle ball. And thankfully, I was very close with my brothers growing up, and we needed to be because of the childhood and the things that we had to endure growing up. Hold on, let me close this window. That's the subway. Um, and like I said, life was really good up until about 7 or 8 years old, Dev. My dad had a really good sales job. Both my parents were educated, both college degrees. My dad graduated from Dowling, which is no longer a college, but it was a college out on Long Island. And then my mom graduated from, she's going to kill me when I don't get this right. I want to say St. Joseph's College, but they
oh,
both graduated,
who?
educated. And my dad was a very good salesman and he was a very good talker. And that's one of, I guess, the good qualities I got from him because I promise you, I'm going to talk about some of the bad ones on this episode that I got to. Um, Life was good. My dad was in medical sales, and dude, we had the biggest house on the block growing up. Like one day, literally, we lived on this place called Fulton Street. And the story goes that my mom and dad were taking a walk around the block in like one of those stroller wagons. And apparently, as the rumor puts, my dad stopped my mom and saw an empty lot with the for sale sign in the lot. And my dad just said, "Hey, Dorothy, you want to buy this lot and build a big house?" And apparently my mom was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that's how it was. We literally the biggest house on the block, the basketball hoop, the paved driveway, the mowed lawn. Like life was good until it wasn't good, dude. And dude, it felt like the flip of like a switch. Like,
And is this something that you remember like the back of your hand, like a core memory?
The
Like,
ugliness, yeah. Like, because it was ugly, Dev. Like, I remember a lot of ugliness. And that's what's sad is like, once I turned like 7 or 8, the good memories started to fade pretty quickly. And like the ugliness kind of took over pretty darn fast. And my parents got divorced, I believe, right when I was like 6 or 7 years old, right around that time. And like I said, life was good up until that point. Bro, we were having like Christmas dinners, bro, where we had like 25, 30 people. The neighbors were coming over. Coach Pinto, my little league coach, was pulling up. I mean, bro, like the Christmas tree was filled with presents. It was insane. Like you would never think like, oh, this family is about to fall apart in a matter of moments, and you would just never know. And um parents got divorced, and both of my parents have addictive personalities. My mom's drug of choice was alcohol, and I'm very proud to say that my mother is, I believe, 14 years, pushing 15 years sober, I want to say. So I'm very proud of Dorothy for her accomplishments.
shout out
um,
Dorothy.
yeah, big shout out to Dorothy. But bro, between me and you and our viewers, man, and I told her that I was going to be talking about this a little bit, so I did kind of give her a heads up, and I'm very proud of my mother, by the way. But childhood was rough because when the divorce happened, my mom was now a single mom with 4 kids. Um, my dad started to spiral pretty quickly after the divorce, and things were ugly, man. Fighting, the yelling, the screaming, leading up to the divorce, during the divorce, right after the divorce, man. I mean, our bedroom, me and Dalton, we shared a bedroom and it was right above the basement. And at the end of the night, my mom and dad would go down into the basement. And dude, it just sounded like the 4th of July some nights, man. But there were no fireworks going off, man. Like ugly.
Just the back and
And yeah, dude, it was bad. But like you'd hear like kids in school talk about like, oh, my mom and dad fight. So I'm like, well, my mom and dad fight too. So the divorce happens, and I was a daddy's boy, dude. Like like, dude, and the only reason I was a daddy's boy is because I was the oldest. So my father gave me a lot of special privileges, as in, like, he would give me favoritism. Sometimes for visitation, he would just pick me up and not my brothers up. So I have a very different relationship with my father than my brothers do, or did, you know. Like, I don't want to speak for Dalton, but if I ever had Dalton on here, I know for a fact that he'd light my father up. And I feel very differently, but it's because how we were raised by him, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Um, and dude, like, as the years started to go on and the months started to pass, my dad got ugly very quickly. Um, but it was bad because as my dad was getting ugly and I wasn't seeing him, my mom was getting ugly while we were living with her. And like I said, single mom, trying her best, but full blown alcoholic, right? And there were moments where my mom was really, really there for us. And then there were moments where she was disappearing. And it was because of the alcohol. It's not because she's a shitty person, man. Like, she's not a horrible human being. But alcoholism is like a scary disease, man. Like, it's destructive. It ruins lives. It ruins families. So it's taken me a long time to get to this point with my mother. And I'll speak more about that at the end of the episode. But I used to have so much anger towards this woman. And over the months, I've slowly started to come around and realized like it's a disease, just like mental health is a disease. And my dad got bad, man. Um, he lost his sales jobs. So my mom's drug of choice was alcohol. My dad's drug of choice was anything that would get him high. Pills, cocaine, oxy, just bad. And when you're on those type of drugs, man, it's tough to hold a job. It's tough to hold relationships. It's tough to be a father. And he got bad quickly. And I know some of my boys are watching, but my dad lost his sales jobs. Then he was working at a liquor store in Massapequa Park called Park Liquors. And it was crazy. Well, Dev, I don't really, we haven't talked too much about your relationship with your pops, but I know a lot of my Massapequa friends, while their fathers were taking them to go to the batting cage on the weekends, and while they were taking them to go to the beach and ride bikes, you know what I was doing, dude? I was in Park Liquors, stocking liquor shelves, cutting up boxes with a razor blade, living like a young adult's life at 12, 13 years old. So I grew up like quick, man. even younger, man. I won't even say like 10 or 11, man. Like, dude, I was legitimately Anthony Peacock. I don't think he's here, but Anthony Peacock knows for a fact. Like, we literally used to pull up and we would eat Chinese food in the back of the liquor store, like little like parking lot area. And we'd eat like Chinese food and fried ice cream. My dad had a dog. And dude, we were chilling in the back of a liquor store as if it was like the front
Normal.
yard of like someone's crib. Like, it was insane. We're 12 years old. And then, believe it or not, I know that sounds bad, right? Like, Pops is bad, it gets worse. He starts stealing booze from the liquor store. You think an alcoholic does that? Yeah, it's a great job for an alcoholic, you know? And then I started not to see my dad. Now, question, what is a drug addict, criminal type of guy who's just kind of hanging on for dear life? If he disappears for a while, where do you think he go? He didn't go to Thailand for an all-inclusive. You know, he didn't go on a cruise to see Alaska. No, he was in and out of the can. So that'd go like 3, 4, 5 months at a time where I wouldn't see Pops. And then my mom would be like, hey, your dad's around. And I'd be like, oh, he's feeling better. My mom would always be like, God, dad's sick. But then it got to a point where I'm old enough. I'm like, I know dad's in the can. And how I really knew was one morning, I'll never forget, my mother called me, Dalton, and Garrett to the bedroom. And there's this thing called the Massapequa Wall of Shame. We have like a newspaper. I think it's called like the Massapequa Patch, I believe. And you know how like the Hall of Fame, which like, you know, Dak Prescott will be there one day, and you know, Michael Irving's there already. Like, they had a wall of shame. So it was basically everyone who was effing up in Massapequa and Nassau County. My mom calls us into the bedroom one day and she goes, just want to give you guys a heads up. If anyone says something at school, just try your best not to listen. And I'm like, all right. And she's like, because dad is in the patch and he's on the wall of shame. I'm like, because of a DWI. And I knew very much so that like my dad was roughed up and no one was going to stop him from ruining his life. And the last couple times I saw my dad were me and him stealing cold cuts and soda cans from IGA supermarket and shoving them in our pockets. Then the time after that, he was so down bad that me and him were in the Massapequa Preserve collecting cans for 5 cents a piece so my dad can have a couple bucks on him. And then we'd be walking home and he'd ask me, yo, Zach, when was the last time anyone's been in that house? It'd be like a house getting construction done, right? And I'd be like, I don't know why. And he'd be like, I just need a place to sleep tonight. I just wondered if like the heat was on. These are conversations like a 12, 13-year-old boy. And I'm just like, I thought that was normal back then, like, you know? And
Yeah.
like, just, Dev, I didn't process it. Like, damn, I'm living a wild life with my dad who's, you know. And then what kind of changed my life is what happened next. You know, while
And
this is,
like right away, or is this a few years? Like,
oh no, like this happened all so quick, man. Like, I'm like 11, 12 years old and like I'm seeing my dad at the liquor store. Like, I'm 12 turning 13, right? And now like I'm not seeing my dad. And then like 13 happens and now I'm picking up cans and robbing, not robbing, but like stealing from stores. And then he goes down to Florida because he runs out of options up here. And he has some like extended family down in Florida. And I don't know what he gets into down there, but it is Christmas night, so December 25th. And I want to say it was 2009. So I'm 13, about to turn 14. And my dad was calling, you know, the house phone whenever he wanted to talk to us. And he called, and I heard it in his voice. Something was wrong. So imagine this, you're a 13-year-old boy and your father calls you on Christmas night and he is crying and he's raspy in his voice and he doesn't sound okay. And dude, I was a pretty smart kid growing up. Like, you can ask my friends, although I've done a lot of crazy, stupid shit. Like, I was always pretty sharp up top. I'd always get really good grades, actually, up until around 8th grade when all this happened.
mm-hmm.
So I knew something was wrong, but I couldn't put it together because remember, I'm still only 13. And he's like, Zach, I want you to be the man of the house. I want you to take care of your brothers. I want you to take care of your mom. I want you to be a leader. I just want to essentially let you know that I love you. And I'm like, all right, but like, what's wrong, Dad? You don't really seem too good. And he's like, no, 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 I'm good. And I'm like, literally so innocent. I'm like, yo, do you need soup? Like, maybe some soup will help. And he's just like, no, Zach, like, I'm good. I just want to say I love you. And I'm proud of you. Keep working hard. Keep going. And don't stop. And he just said, tell your brothers I love them. Tell your mom I love her. And I couldn't remember the last thing I said to my father because that was the last time I heard from him. Because the next morning I woke up and there was like this eeriness, man, like this like deafening tone in the air, and it was like, yo, something's wrong. And then my mom, I see her and she gives me this like half smirk, like, Merry, like day after Christmas, boys. Like, I hope, and something's fucked. So we all get up and my mom sits us in this room we call the study. And she, along with her boyfriend at the time, who I don't really want to talk about too much because this isn't like a roast session and that's not the purpose of this podcast, but he wasn't too good to me either. And they sit us down and they say, boys, I just want to let you know that last night your father took his own life. He shot himself. And my life flipped there, like immediately, because like I was a daddy's boy. Like I literally, it's faded now because I'm a hairy gorilla, but his initials are RAZ, so Raz, pretty cool initials. And like I know Pops is up top right now, sipping on a beer, probably staring at some blonde girl with a big butt walking by, and he wasn't a good husband and he wasn't a good father to my three brothers. But I could honestly say, dude, to like me, he was, for what he got and addiction and mental health and everything that he had going, like he was good enough for me. And I miss him every day. And I'll talk more about that at the end, but that's where my life changed. And I went from being like a top notch student to bottom of the barrel, as in bottom of the barrel about caring about real world stuff. Like I literally didn't care, dude. Like I got cut from the 8th grade baseball team because I just stopped practicing, stopped caring, like, and I put on so much weight. Like, hey, 7th grade, like your dad dies, or sorry, in 8th grade and Christmas, like you really care about baseball in March or April or May. Dude, I think I put on like 25 pounds in like 3 months. And I was like, and I guess that's kind of where I want to wrap up like the first part of the segment, but because the next part kind of transitions me into, I guess, the next part of where I want to take this. But yeah, dude, the moment my dad commit suicide, man, it changed my life.
That's tough, man. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's insane.
Yeah, and people don't understand like the word like, oh, I'm just gonna go kill myself right now. Like, how often people use that in like everyday lingo?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to fucking jump off a bridge right now. Like, yo, the amount of people that do that like every day. Actually, I got some really cool hoodies that came in the mail that I want to show everyone because I'm really trying to make this like podcast, have a purpose, and I want mental health to be a big part of it. So I'll show these hoodies at the end. But yeah, it changed my life, man. And then
So
of course, like obviously the toxology report came back and every drug in your system he had in him. I mean, Dev, like it literally looked like you were at like you were getting Wendy's and you were getting like a taco, but then you just added like every single topping on top. That was literally like it's like methamphetamine, cocaine, like alcohol. It was insane. I was like, so yeah, dude. After that, stop caring about everything, bro. And that's kind of where it's going to take us into like this next part where I just want to talk a little bit about like post losing my father up until like my first mental health scare. Also, I know you were looking around. Do you have to go, or do you still got a little bit of time? I know you're kind of in the middle
Uh,
of it.
they kind of just gave me a nod. I really I hate to head out of here, and I'm sorry, gang, that I wasn't here last week. I'm currently using this as my lunch break. Um, and I have to hop back out to work. However, I will be tuned in listening. Just know everyone loves you, Zach. You're a hard motherfucker. Bad to the bone. Everything shaped you for a reason. Everyone out there still fighting. Like, damn, man. Tough.
Hey, hey, dude, thanks for popping on and kind of holding it down for these 30 minutes because I was running a little late today, so I appreciate you kind of manning the fort, and I'll hit you up later, but please don't get fired. Thanks.
Yeah, no, you got this though. Hey, keep your head up. You got this.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate it. I'll hit you up later. All right, so solo dolo. I'm gonna try this out. It's the first time I've done this solo. All right. Deep breath, Zach. I always do like a whoosha. I give like a whoosha. Oh, I'm still going. We got like a half hour left. Don't. If anyone leaves and I see these viewers go down, I'm gonna get a little pissed off. I'm not gonna. No, I'm just kidding. I love all you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. All right. You know what's funny? I swear to God, that whole first part, I had like, because this episode, I was trying to have notes, and then I was like, do I really need notes for this first segment, like talking about my childhood? I was like, but no, literally, this was all for just the first 20 minutes or so. So I don't even think I need this. And I touched on pretty much everything. So pretty cool. But ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade were all pretty rough for me, as in I put on a lot of weight. I stopped caring about schoolwork, and my average in class just consistently went down. Like, I don't know if I would have went Ivy League, probably not, although there was a path for me to get there through some connections and whatnot. But I promise you, December 25th or 26th, because it technically was past midnight, 2009, like all of that hope went out the window. Like, I'll never forget Senor Giratano in 8th grade called me to tell me that I was the only one on the final to get 100 on the Spanish final in 8th grade. And that was like the first big achievement I had after I lost my dad. But my point being is I was really smart. But then 9th grade hit. I'll never forget Suzanne Starsman, really great math teacher. I just stopped caring. I mean, I'd show up to math and I'd just be like disrespectful. I would show up to science class and I'd be like trying to flirt with my science teacher. That was like my main objective. Like, I just didn't care about it. I didn't take anything seriously. Like, I made a fool out of myself on a daily basis. Not even drinking though. Like, I wasn't bad. I didn't get into the drugs and the alcohol in high school. I was just kind of like yeah, also, if you guys have any questions in the chat, like, as you guys can imagine by now, like, ask away about my mental health, how I handled things, any sort of thing, because this is like this type of episode where it's raw, authentic. I showed up 7 minutes before we started. Like, I'm an open book right now. Stop caring about school, stop caring about literally anything that had to do with actually caring about life. And that is when my uncle, Uncle Gerard Cooney, everyone's got that uncle who actually isn't the uncle, who isn't even really blood. He's just that dude who sips Heinekens in the corner at the barbecue, who makes sure that like the sausage and peppers are ready to go. And he's literally like a dad, but he's not even blood related. I got an uncle like that. His name's Uncle G. And he goes, yo, Zach, maybe the military is a good idea. So through the process of me wanting to go to the military, I also got a little bit more disciplined in 12th grade. And part of that was because I wanted to go out for the baseball team in 12th grade. Summer going into 12th grade, I grew. And I wasn't kidding. Up until like 11th grade, I had bigger breasts. I know I said this earlier. And for you ladies in the room, all respect. Mwah. But I had bigger breasts than most women that I went to school with until the start of 12th grade. And I basically grew to like the height I was now. So I went from being this like short, stocky-ish bowling ball coming through the hallways of Massapequa High School to like this taller, a lot of baby fat on me because I didn't put on the muscle quite yet, but a lot of baby fat on me. And I grew. I was like 6'2", 6'3". And at that point, I realized I could throw a really good curveball pitching. I mean, for those of you who had to face it, it was probably your worst nightmare. You can just ask the whole Hicksville team in high school. I still hate those guys. I still remember some of their names. I don't want to name drop them now. just due to like HIPAA. But I know who you guys are. I still remember. Sean. Sean C. No, I'll stop. But my point being is I was I was a gamer. So I'm like, I'm gonna go out for the team. And at this point in time, my mom just got sober. But because my mom was sober, she put her early sobriety as a big priority in her life. And that just like kind of stung with me because I'm like, yo, and I still wasn't at the point where I am now where I like forgive my mom. So at this point, I'm like, Mom, screw you. Like, you were a horrible mother when you were drinking, and now you're sober, and now you're not even here for us. Like, what are you doing? Like, Dorothy, get it together. It never clicked yet. I didn't hit that moment yet. And anyway, so like my mom gets sober. She finally kicks this douchebag. And that's going to be the nicest thing I say about the guy. So I'm going to only say that once. He was a douchebag. My mom kicked him out. She got clean. She got sober. She came to a realization. Awesome. And I really hope this dude never sees me in public because it's going to be lights out. But so when my mom got sober, a lot of you might think like, things really got better. No, and I don't blame my mom, but she had to be very selfish in this moment. Early sobriety is a very rough time where you can get triggered and then you end up at a bar drinking double shots of Jack on the rocks just because someone cuts you off in the right lane. So I don't hate her for it. I don't want to share too much about my mom because it's her business and I still want to talk to her more about what she is comfortable with sharing. But this is how much of an alcoholic my mother was. When she got hospitalized because she got a DUI picking me up from umpiring a baseball game, she crashed into a parked car. And by the way, I do want to say I am so fucking proud of my mom, but I need people to hear this. Crashed into a parked car, comes stumbling out of the car. A random mother of one of the kids I was umpiring drove me home because they were like, shit, this dude's mom is fucked up and she probably going to the can. My mom was such an alcoholic that when she got clean, her heart stopped 3 times from withdrawal, as in they had to nuke her with, I forgot what they're called. And I should know because I'm CPR certified, but the buzzers, whatever, 3 times her heart stopped because of the withdrawal from booze. So when she got sober, that was her priority. So like when I won Nassau County championship game, when like the dog pile I was talking about last week and like Nick Garland's crotch was in my mouth, like my mom was at an AA meeting. My uncle was the one I was going to. And I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for my uncle Gerard and my Aunt Margie, as well as I grew up with the greatest group of motherfucking friends. And you're going to find out about those dudes in a minute. So anyway, 10th, 11th, 12th grade is rough. I grow in 12th grade, baseball team coming around the corner. I become more disciplined. Cool, I might go to the Navy. Like I said, sports episode was last week, but I make the baseball team. Things are going great. Life is good. 12th grade was like a movie. From like March to June of 12th grade, everyone was like, yo, Zach peaked in high school. It felt like a peak. I swear to God. Like I felt on top of the world. Like literally insane. And while I'm going through high school, I should mention I'm going to therapy. And I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety because of my dad. Depression and anxiety. For those of you who know me really well, that is not what I have right now. So this is just kind of the beginning, or not the beginning, but getting towards the real meat and potatoes of the story. I just want to check the time quick. Baseball goes really good. It's a really great time. And at this point in time, I had goals and aspirations to go to the Navy. But through the process of the Navy, you have to go through the road trip. Not the road trip, I'm sorry. I just read something about the road trip. You have to go through MEPS, which is like the physical process. So you have to go get a physical. You have to go pee in a cup. And essentially through this process, I got disqualified from the Navy because I had depression. So through this, I had to go to community college, essentially, because college at this point was off the table. And I needed to get my grades up because my grades had slipped so much during my high school days that no colleges would really take me. So the plan was to go to Nassau Community College for a couple of years. and 2 years at most, 1 year if I got lucky. However, that was the plan. I come home from my after prom. At this point in time, it's clear I'm not going to the Navy. My mother and me still don't have a great relationship. And one day my mom turns to me and she says, Zach, I love you, but you can't really move in with us. You don't have space for you in the new place. And I'm like, Mom, I'm 18 years old. You're going to let me figure it out? And essentially she was like, tough cookies, like tough nuggies. Like, yeah, you gotta work with it. So I'm like, wow. My Aunt Margie stepped up and she let me live with her. So from about August to December, January, I'm living with my Aunt Margie. And things are good. She's never had kids, so we're learning how to work with each other and whatnot. And then I do something really, really stupid. I do something that essentially ruins. Sorry, I just got a text. That essentially ruins the whole thing I got going with my aunt. I go out for New Year's one night, and I get tuned up, come home, and what does Zach do? I pee all over the kitchen floor. I remember it partially. I'm like browned out. I wake up the next morning and my aunt can't even look me in the eye. And I'm like, you know what? I should probably start looking for a new place to live. I'm 18 years old. I just got kicked out of my aunt's house. And this is during the Christmas break in between fall and spring semesters in Nassau Community College. And thank God for the brothers who are essentially my family. And I'm going to just list them quick. Danny Craven, Micah Ponte, John Walsh, Anthony Peacock. During this time, Tom Meehan, Phil Romeo. I'm couch surfing for like a week during Christmas break. Think about that. I'm couch surfing in the beginning of January. I kid you not. I'm in Aunt Danny Craven's basement one night. The next night I'm on Tom Meehan's couch, and all of them are like, yo, Zach, I wish you could stay longer, but like, hey, we got family and the kids and our parents are sorry. And I'm like, no, listen, just a night with a pillow and a blanket until I figure out what's going on. And then finally, my brother from another mother, Micah Ponte, and then Mr. and Mrs. Aponte, I end up on their couch one evening. And the next morning, I'm packing my stuff, ready to leave, and Mr. and Mrs. Aponte sit me down and they say, Zach, you're going to be one of us, as in we will treat you like you're our son. You may live with us as long as you follow our rules and our expectations. And I said, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Aponte, that is one of the nicest, most courageous, most heartwarming things anyone has ever done for me. And I lived with the Aponte family on 146 Fillmore Street in Massapequa as if I was a part of the Aponte family. I was dating a girl at the time. If I wanted that girl to come over, I was able to have that girl over as if it was my home. I actually felt at home. Remember, a house is not a home. You have to make it feel like a home. And I felt for the first time at home with the Aponte family in a long, long time. And I'm at Nassau Community College. I get a 3.91 my first semester, and I think a 3.84 my second. And Oneana's like, at this point, Oneana denied me after high school. This time they're like, yo, bring it. Yo, Big Z, we want you. Cool. I stay with literally the Aponte family until about a week before I go to Oneana, and that's because Mike has to leave because he's going to South Carolina. So in that week, I have a chance to actually stay with my mom because my mom decided, hey, Zach's growing up a little bit. We got a chance. So I'm sleeping on now an air mattress in my mom and my brother's first floor of a 2-story home for that week. And I kid you not, me and my mom cried to each other on that ride up to Oneana because we had 4.5 hours. Think about this. We didn't talk for one whole year. We hang out for a week, and then boom, she's driving me up to the 607 in Oneana. We talked about the dumbest stuff like a son and mother hadn't talked about for years. And remember, like my whole childhood, she was drunk. And when she got sober, we hated each other. And I love my mom now. We had dinner on Friday, and we're doing really good. But I get up to Oneana, and I'm a little behind schedule, so I'm going to kind of skip through the Oneana part. But what you need to know about my story in Oneana is baseball was incredible. I met a great group of guys. Coach Grimm, shout out to you for taking a chance on me. I would have not met these brothers if it wasn't for you taking a shot on this loud, doofy, Polish in your face walk on. And hey, I know I looked really good in tryouts, so I don't blame you for taking me. I'm sorry for what happened after that. But here's where I need to talk about. In college, I started to go through these phases where I would have these really high ups and these really high downs. And I started to kind of realize this might be more than just a little anxiety and depression. For example, I would go out on a Saturday night, then go to the gym on Sunday on an hour of sleep and play pickup intramural basketball for 6 hours, and then go back out to do a happy hour on Sunday afternoon. And then I'd come home and study for a test I had on Monday. But I couldn't sleep, so I'd pull an all-nighter and play Madden for 4 hours. And then I'd order some food from the pizzeria at 2 a.m. And then as everyone just got their 7 or 8 hours of sleep, Zach's been up now for 36 hours, feeling like it's normal. Yo, Z, you good? Yeah, man, I'm just a little jacked up. I had a couple Red Bulls. I'm fine. I took an Adderall the other day. It might still be. I don't know. And I had no idea what I was in for. Because as I would stay up for these 2, 3, 4 days, then I'd crash for 2, 3, 4 days later on. Couldn't get out of bed. Couldn't make it to class. I start to see these mood swings, but they wouldn't be like daily. They would be in these stretches. And it was very unknown to me. Like there were times where I'd be depressed at Oneonta where I like didn't have an urge to live. And I'd be like, this is weird. Like, why wouldn't I have an urge to live? Like my life's not bad. Like I got a beautiful girlfriend. Like I'm popular. I'm on the baseball team. I got my own house. Like I live in the baseball house as a senior. Like what's wrong with me? But I have an urge to jump off the roof. I don't want to wake up tomorrow. What's wrong? And no one knew what's going on. My roommates, my uncle, my mom. And then I graduate college. I make it through. Barely, because I was starting to feel off. And here we go. Zach graduates college. What does Zach want to do? Go get a job? No, let me go drive across the country. So I worked my ass off that whole summer. And this is where I knew something was really off. Because, first of all, who wants to go drive across the country right when they graduate college? Like, yeah, usually some Looney Tunes do that. Or someone who's just high on life. Or maybe someone who's got a serious mental illness but doesn't know it yet. So don't get me wrong. I do not regret my first cross-country road trip because it made me who I am today. But I had a great time. I mean, as Joe Rosello, man, we were out in Grand Canyon. We were rapping. We found like, for the Oneonta folks, believe it or not, when I tell you this, we found like the Jimmy T's of Oneonta in Flagstaff, Arizona. It was crazy. I had a great experience. So I get out to California. I make it out to Cali. And then on my way back, I'll never forget. I call my mom when I'm in Denver. And I go, Mom, I'm freaking out. Like, I can't focus behind the wheel. Something's wrong. She's like, breathe, Zach, breathe. I'm like, no, Mom, something's really, really wrong. And I will it together essentially to the point where I'm able to muscle my way across the country. From like Colorado on, like, yeah, I went to the Field of Dreams in Dyersville, Iowa. That was beautiful. Yeah, I went to Chicago and checked out Wrigleyville. Dope as hell. If you've never been to Chicago, go there. But I was not okay. Not okay to the point where Andrew Judge was my buddy driving back with me. I couldn't drive. I gave him the wheel, the last part. I was like, dude, like, I can't, I'm shaking. I can't focus. Like, and I'll never forget, I got home. I was on the road for like 44 days and I crashed. Just like it was college, those highs and lows, but this time it was longer. The high was like a 6-week cross-country trip high. And then the low, I spent Thanksgiving and New Year's that year in 2 different psych wards. Thanksgiving was in one on Long Island. I forgot the name of it, but it was a really rough one. So imagine this. I just got back from a cross-country road trip. 3 weeks later, I am wearing shoes with no shoelaces. I'm wearing fuzzy socks. I'm in a blue gown. And people are watching me to make sure I don't try and drown myself in the toilet. So I spent 4 weeks in this first psych ward. I eat Thanksgiving dinner with a bunch of people in the psych ward. And then I get out because I want to be home for Christmas. And my mom's like, all right, maybe some days I'll do it. And back to the psych ward. But the last one was bad, so we're going to try a different one. So now I end up in Zucker Hillside in Queens. Another 30 days. Depressed as hell. Hospital food. People watching me. No shoelaces. So now I'm 2 psych ward episodes in. I get out. And thank God I had some boys. Those same boys I listed that were letting me couch crash, they were visiting me in the damn psych ward. Brothers for damn life. Every single one of you. And I get a job at Success Academy Charter School and I get hired. Oh, life is good again. But no one has actually figured out what's wrong with me yet because the doctors are like, dude, he's just super depressed. He misses his dad. He needs a father figure. And this is where it gets ugly. Y'all thought it was ugly yet. Yeah. This is literally opening attractions because I haven't even turned 25 yet, 24. And then this is where it goes downhill. Strap in, everyone. All right. I get hired at this place called Success Academy. Job's going good. Life is going good. The kids love me first year. I'm on Zoom school. I crush it first year. I'm dating another girl. Life is good. I got a great group of friends. Second year, we're now in person at this place. August, September, October, November, everything is great. You know, Zach, a little reckless, a little rough around the edges, but good teacher. The kids love me. Yeah, I'll show up to work with my shirt untucked. Yeah, my tie. I don't know where it is, but I'll be there and I'll teach you kids about Hammurabi's code and I'll do a hell of a good job with it. Then December break comes. And at this point, I'm gambling a lot of money. And I end up getting involved with someone online who essentially holds this stream daily where you have to go on and you have to pitch your sports picks. And I'm a very social guy. I like to be in front of the mic. And believe it or not, I know a lot about sports. So I go on this stream and I would pitch my picks. And at first, it was a lot of fun and it was normal. But what this ended up doing was it ended up spiking another one of those highs. But this high was the worst of them all. I start to not sleep, not for a day or two, but for 4 or 5 days. I'm on Christmas break. I am now drinking throughout the day. I also want to make a disclaimer before I continue that everything I'm about to share with you, I had no idea what was going on up here. As in, like, this is not who I am now. I am so aware of what I have, and I take enormous precautions and steps to make sure that I am okay. Because what I'm about to share with you is not going to seem real. So I start to not sleep. I start to gamble hundreds of dollars. It's turning into thousands. I am showing up to work and my buddies like Dylan and Persaldo, yo, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. My speech is just super sped up though. I'm talking about starting this podcast of my own, gambling related. Then I start offering these jobs to people, offering them $150,000 a year salaries. Buddies are answering the phone. What'd you say? What? Yo, go to bed, bro. What do you? As each day went by, it got worse and worse. I started becoming more unrealistic, more out of control. I kid you not, I showed up to Success Academy on a Thursday. I walked into my principal's office. I said, Miss So-and-so, I'm not going to say her name, due to some out-of-school business opportunities that have presented themselves to me, I think the only way that the school will be able to retain me is if you guys give me a salary of $300,000. And I said this with a straight face, believing that it was totally normal because I was going through an episode that I had no idea what was happening. So obviously my principal knew something was wrong. She sent me home. I said, screw that. I resigned from my job. So now I resigned from my job. My girlfriend kicks me out. She knows something's wrong. My mom's like, you ain't coming back here. I do some horrendous things, as in I go to my mom and my mom's boyfriend's home and I take all of the belongings that I can't fit in my car and I throw them on my front lawn and I beat the living hell out of them with a baseball bat. I take every belonging, I kid you not, that did not fit in my car from my mom and her boyfriend's house and I beat it up on the front lawn with a baseball bat for all of the neighbors to see. I wrote it down because I wanted to get this part right. I was on the run for essentially about 3 weeks, homeless, because no one let me in their home. I was running out of money. My friends were like, Zach is really messed up. but he won't accept help. He won't go to the hospital. He won't get checked in. He won't do any of this. So I'm on the run. Finally, Mr. Scott Craven, who is another one of the individuals who the only reason I'm alive is because of him, he's able to convince me to go get checked out and get a psych eval. And I'm sitting there because when you are having this type of episode, and I don't want to tell you what it is yet, but when you're having this type of episode, you think you're right all the time. You're correct. You're a god or a goddess. You feel on top of the world. Nothing can faze you. You feel no fear. Nothing can go wrong in your life. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go pass this psych ward. Yeah, let's go. I go there. Obviously, I don't pass it. They're like, yo, you're manic as hell. You have bipolar disorder. I'm like, no, I don't. Bipolar. What is bipolar disorder? No, what are you talking about? So where do I end up? Back at Zucker Hillside. So back at Zucker Hillside for 28 days. But the first 2 weeks, I'm manic as hell. I'm like going around crazy. Yo, I'm fine. I don't know what you're talking about. I have this podcast. I'm good. I don't know. I just quit my job because I have these business operations. I'm trying to explain to the doctor. I'm like, Doc, here's a list of 130 names of people who would support this podcast. None of them actually were supporting it. Like I was talking craziness. But then after 2 weeks, when they kept upping my bipolar meds, I clicked. I'm like, yo, if I keep acting manic, they're never going to let me leave. So when you're manic and you're able to decipher when a situation needs you to be super locked in, you get it. So then I start acting good. Listen, Doc, I know the podcast might not work out. It's just a side gig, side job. Cool. It's a side thing I'm working on. Doctor's like, oh, he's making progress. Cool. You're on board to get released. Boom. I get out on like the 30th, 31st day. Mr. Craven picks me up from Zucker Hillside. He brings me to my car, parked at my aunt's house. What do? Back on the run. Manic again. Going on social media. I'm back. Who missed me? They can't tame the beast. Here's my pick of the day, by the way. They can't tame me. I'll still give you a winner. Talking about gambling, my podcast, this business. I'm moving to Vegas. I'm going to open up. I'm talking straight nonsense. And as each hour goes by, I'm losing some people who care about me. And I am then on the run after my 30 days at Zucker Hillside for about another week. I'm living in my car at John J. Burns Park in Massapequa. Literally sitting in my car all day, charging my phone on social media, acting just out of line, tweeting, Facebook, Instagram, just talking nonsense about nonsense. But I thought it was real up here. Haven't clicked yet that I'm something seriously wrong. Mr. Craven and Mrs. Craven are literally bringing me bread, water, snacks to the Burns Park parking lot. I have Frank Tropiano and Matt Eicher bringing me those red jugs that you'd fill up a lawnmower with. They have those big gas tanks, trying to fill my gas tank because my car was running for so long in the parking lot. I ran out of gas. Do I think this is wrong? Something's up? Nope. Normal. Week is happening. I'm in Johnny McGorry's, blacking out, driving drunk around Long Island. All it takes is one cop. Pull me over, my life's over. And that's why I say, like, I've lived, like, a lot of lives. And guys, it was bad. Like, I lost everything at that time. And that's why I hate going back to Long Island, because I've driven on all these roads manic as hell. Every single gas station on Long Island, I probably filled up and got gas on when I was during my episode. And finally, through a failed attempt of me trying to drive from New York to Las Vegas with $70 to my name and no driver's license while on Instagram Live the whole time. So imagine this. You're, I don't know, Joe Rowe. My boy Joe Rowe is going on Instagram Live. He just pops on. Zach Zamardo's live. Zachy Z. Cool. It's me going through, I don't know, over the bridge trying to get into Jersey. Follow your dreams. Yo, F the haters. Yo, you're going to live life. You're going to be okay. Everything happens for a reason. Yo, they want to tell you not to go to Vegas. Well, guess what? Go to Vegas. People are like, he's still doing this? It's been, I don't know. How long has it been? It's up 8-9 weeks. I get as far as the Jersey Turnpike. I pop 2 tires on the Jersey Turnpike. Mr. Craven says, are you done yet? I said, nope. Bring me back to Long Island. I'll just keep going. Brings you back to Long Island through a failed sting operation where Mr. Craven and a couple of my buddies try and basically get me into a psych ward because they call the police and the ambulance on me. But remember, when you're manic, you can just So I get to the hospital where these police officers and ambulance driver bring me, and I'm so good with my words that the officer literally says to the receptionist, he's not going to the psych. He just needs a bed and some food. I'm like, ha, fooled him again. That morning, I'm back on the streets. I have no money left, and I am now riding the bus via my hospital release paperwork. Because in Long Island, New York, you can ride the bus if you have a release hospital thing, apparently. So for those of you who know Long Island, know what I'm talking about, I take the bus from Hempstead Turnpike, Nassau Community Center Hospital to Route 110, where the multiplex is, and there's a donut shop bodega on the corner. And I'm charging my phone there, talking to the bodega guy about how I got this podcast starting. Yo, I'm gonna have him on. You want stake in the company? I don't even have a company. I don't know what an LLC is. And I get a call from Tommy Alter, who was my Little League coach when I was 12 years old. And he goes, Zach, I heard you're in a rough spot. And I go, Tommy, I break down. But I'm still manic, but I'm like, holy shit, this is Tommy Alter. And I don't want to name drop too much, but essentially his brother, who has his own story, which I would not like to share right now, and it's his story to share, but essentially he helps me get down to a rehab facility down in Florida. I show up to this rehab facility with the clothes on my back. I was homeless. I didn't have a car anymore. All my clothes were in my car at some shop in Belmore. So I showed up to Florida and West Palm Beach in the airport. I get picked up in a t-shirt, shorts, ankles that are swollen, literally as wide as this Gatorade bottle, like the width, because I had no shoelaces on and I was walking around the freezing cold weather of New York with no laces. They were so worried about how swollen my ankles were that they were going to rush me to the ER as soon as I got down there because they thought that it was building up with fluids and they didn't want to get infected. But I was manic. It didn't click. The first 2 weeks down there, I'm still manic. I'm thinking these people are treating me like a celebrity and that I'm some hot Joe Schmo that they flew down here and I'm getting the celeb treatment. People down there are like, this kid's not an alcoholic. This kid isn't a pothead. This kid isn't a drug addict. This kid is nuts. And it wasn't until 2 weeks in, my mom's boyfriend filed an order of protection on me. So I had a Zoom hearing via Zoom. So I'm in a turquoise shirt, honestly, like the color of this deodorant stick collared shirt, wearing like shorts. And I'm on like something like this. And it's a Zoom court. And the judge is like introducing everyone. And essentially the court hearing was to ask my mom and Pat, my mom's boyfriend, if they wanted to keep the order of protection with me. And they said yes. Wasn't mad at them because knowing and looking back on what I did, I would have had one too. And that's when it hit me. When you get out of mania, and at this point in time, if you heard earlier, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And I'll speak a little bit about that in a little bit because I know I only have like 10 minutes left because we started a little late. So I'm going to try and wrap up at 8:10. When you get out of mania, it happens literally like manic, not manic. So imagine I get out of this court hearing, I go smoke a cigarette outside, and then boom, I lost $40,000 to $50,000. I lost friends. I lost a job. I lost a girlfriend. I lost my professionalism. I lost the Zamardo name. I lost my dignity. And with bipolar disorder, just as much as you are high, the low is just as bad. And when I say this, I then spent the next 2 weeks at that facility wanting to kill myself every single day. And I just didn't have the guts to do it. They would drag me out of bed to go to the meetings. When I got to the meetings, I would lay in the corner on a concrete wooden floor and crawl into the fetal position, hoping someone would kill me, hoping that I could fall asleep and never wake up. 2 weeks go by. My mom still doesn't know what to do with me. Everyone at home is like, oh, what the hell was that? Was that? So they're like, listen, because your insurance is up at this facility, you have to move on to the next facility. So essentially it was another rehab, but now you can't be in the facility during the daytime. You have to be out looking for a job or doing work, trying to better your life. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not a drug addict. I am depressed as hell and I'm literally ready to end it. So now, for about 3 days, at night, I'm allowed to stay in these dorms, but during the day, I have to be out on the streets in West Palm Beach. I am roaming around West Palm Beach in the park, laying in the grass, sleeping on trees, looking at the cars passing by, wondering which one I'm going to throw myself in front of. Meds hadn't started kicking in yet. I picked up the phone during that third day and I called my mom and she answered. I said, Mom, I will do anything you want me to do. Get me back to Long Island. I will be a choir boy. I will never drink again. I will never smoke again. I literally will do anything and everything possible. Please, 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 please get me back to Long Island. Dalton, my brother, who was very helpful during the process, he's making calls. My mom's reaching out to me. Mr. Craven, they're all trying to connect. Finally, Mr. Craven says, I got you an Uber. Leave your clothes, get everything. You're going to West Palm Beach Airport right now. We got you a flight home. Got it. I go to West Palm Beach Airport. I show up literally the same way I got there. Clothes on my back, cigarettes. So if you don't have your ID, that you actually are allowed to fly through airport security. At least you were a couple of years ago. You just have to kind of go through a couple extra security measures. However, essentially I get back to Long Island and I am now in a hotel for a week. And my mom and Mr. Craven are trying to figure out what to do. I am in this hotel room sitting in the dark for a week straight. And it is right when Russia invaded Ukraine. And it is right when March Madness is going on. And I'm sitting in the Best Western Hotel on Sunrise Highway, not wanting to live. And then through the grace of God, a higher power, my mom receives a phone call from some friends and some people that she was reaching out to. And I was able to get in with a scholarship and some insurance money. And through the help of my mom's old boss and my brother's current boss, this guy, Jay, he helped out financially. I was able to get into this place called Silver Hill Hospital. And I spent 30 days there. And this was, I guess, the most important part of my recovery. And this Silver Hill Hospital was like top of the line. This is where apparently CC Sabathia went during his stint. Billy Joel went to this place. You can look it up online. His piano's in the mess hall. Really, really great place. The doctor there said it was one of, if not the worst manic episodes he has ever heard described to him in his entire life. Some dude from Yale, some smart looking dude. I got out like the end of April, beginning of May, and my mom and mom's boyfriend, who I thank for this day, because I don't think I would have been okay if they didn't. They let me come home after everything, and they just essentially said to me, you have to follow a certain set of rules. And I'll be honest with you, I did not follow those set of rules, which I am owning up to as a man. And because I did not own up to those set of rules, and due to my manic episode, me and my mother and her boyfriend's relationship took some rough hits. However, we are obviously on the come up with that. Like I said, I got dinner with my mother the other night and things are really great. But at this point in time, I ruined my whole life. I hit rock bottom. My credit score was literally a 30. I lost only one close friend from my childhood. Most of my other friends decided to stick around and say, yo, he was just nuts. But I lost one close friend. I obviously lost the girlfriend. I lost the job. And now I have bipolar disorder and I have to start over at, 25? And I guess to wrap up this episode, I'm going to talk about, I guess, what I do to make sure I'm okay every day. So essentially, I get home from this rehab from Silver Hill Hospital and I am still depressed as hell. May, June, July, August, I don't leave my bed still. Every day, not wanting to live. Straight hopelessness. Googling how to tie a noose. Looking up what countries allow for like cyanide pills. I was like, yo, I don't want to live anymore. And through all this, Mr. Scott Craven, Frank Tropiano specifically, and a couple other good dudes just kept saying, Zach, dude, yo, it wasn't you, it was your mental health. Like, you're a great person. You have a huge heart. You're not a bad guy. You just need to like figure out how to live with this. So I take my medication. I start going to therapy. I see a psychiatrist. And I'll be honest with you, this has been about 4 years ago. since all of this, I haven't had the best of times. I've had the best of times, the worst of times, sometimes in between. As each day goes by, I learn more and more about myself every day. But one things that I do know that living with this disease called bipolar disorder is I need to take my meds religiously. I need to go to the therapist. I need to see the psychiatrist. I need to meditate most mornings to keep this quiet, to navigate some noise. I stay away from drinking most of the time. I'm not sober, but I don't go out and party anymore. I don't do hard drugs. In college, I might have sniffed them or dabbled with them a little bit. Long way away. Because the most important thing in my life right now is this. Because I know if I don't take care of this, I'll never make it through this life with what I have. Bipolar disorder is essentially a disease where you have really, really high ups and really, really low lows, and it's due to genetics, trauma, and chemical misbalance in the brain. Trauma, check that. Genetics, found out that my father also had bipolar disorder. I check every box. You know, in some job applications in New York State, or you should have it, you actually have to check off bipolar disorder, that it's a disability. So I technically have like a disability. But if you saw me walking down the street or you saw me teach one classroom, you would never even think in a million years I was disabled. But I promise you, I am. And I'm not as confident as I am now talking about it. 6 months ago, I would never even speak about this. Even 3 months ago, I don't think I would have. But I'll be honest with you, I've learned to live with this. I'm so damn happy right now. And that's part of why I wanted to do this podcast, because it's going to help me stay focused, help me stay locked in, help me spread this word of it's okay to have a mental health. It's okay to talk about being sad and breaking the stigma. You're never alone. Suicide's real. Mental health is real. And part of why I'm doing this podcast and this stream is because I want young men, especially, to be okay with talking about it. Because I used to be like afraid to talk to my friends about it. Like I'd be like, yo, I want to kill myself. Like, I don't know what Peacock will think or Danny will think. But I promise you, the moment I was able to like trust my friends and realize like I start to talk about it, yeah, they might be like, yo, what's up? You good? Yo, maybe we should call someone. But I want people to be comfortable with talking about mental health and breaking the stigma. Because so many people live with it. And it doesn't have to be as extreme as my story. Because I promise you, there are probably many people out there that don't have a story like mine. But I know for a fact that there are people out there that I would hope benefit from one thing I said. Because listen, I promise you, I don't want to compare feelings. There's no levels to this. I wanted to die for 5 straight months. Didn't want to live. I would sit in the dark. I wouldn't turn the TV on. I don't want to get too disgusting, but I would literally pee in a bottle next to me because I couldn't get out of bed to go to the damn bathroom. So I know what it's like to feel hopeless. I know what it's like to feel completely alone. And I know what it's feel like to have no way out. But I just want to let everyone out there who's watching, who's going to watch once we post it to YouTube, that you're not alone. There's always someone out there. And that the world loves you. And if you feel like the world doesn't love you, well, I promise you, Zach Zamardo, Zachy Z loves you. And like I said, I'm so happy with my life right now. I have a great job. I have a great group of friends. I have a staff at work who supports me, who knows about what I have. They know I have bipolar disorder, and they support me through this process. It's not a crime to live with bipolar disorder. In my opinion, it's a crime if you don't treat it. The life expectancy of someone with bipolar disorder is 10 to 12 years younger and someone who doesn't, go Google it. Because we're way more likely to commit suicide. We're more likely to partake in impulsive behaviors. But I'm obviously going to talk more about the mental health aspect of myself and whatnot. But I just want to let everyone know, want everyone to know, through all of that and my past and my history, I'm doing okay. I'm navigating the noise. Some days better than others. Some days I yell a little bit more than others. Usually on a Monday I'm yelling. Usually because the Cowboys lost. And you know what's awesome? I have such a great group of friends and people around me that if I'm feeling off, I can go to them immediately and say, hey, Mikey Mac, something's off. I'm not good. Or, hey, a gate. I haven't slept in like 2 days. Like my head's not ticking the right way right now. I guess what I want to wrap up with at the end of this episode is just to say that, like, your life matters. And if you ever feel like it doesn't, I promise you it does. Because there are times where I didn't see light at the end of the tunnel, but sometimes you just have to grab that shovel and you just got to dig your own hole to go get that light. Don't ever give up. And I miss my dad every single day, but I am also mad at him because suicide is such a selfish act. So before we go, I do want to give some shout out and some love to our sponsors. So I want to give a love, like I said, to the 67 Forest and Deli right here on Forest Avenue. Like I said, I actually straight up stopped in there before I pulled in. Got myself a Red Bull and a Gatorade. The deli guy, he was literally like, yo, don't you go on in 7 minutes? I'm like, yo, I'm running, literally running with my broken toe in Crocs. Yes, I broke my toe playing softball the other day. So shout out to my deli guys. All right. Also, I have another big shout out to the deli right on Metropolitan Avenue. All right. Literally right next to where the M train is. All right. Great group of guys. All right. I know there's a school over there, and I think a lot of the kids stop in there for drinks. And sometimes as I'm passing through the neighborhood, I'll pop in there too. Really, really great guys. And like I said, from when I've seen them, they've been great with the kids. So that's been good too. And then last shout out, all right, is going to be going to, all right, my boy, Dirty Mike, I like to call him, or Big Mike, all right, from All American Tent Company. Like I said, all right, if you need a tent for any sort of social event, Sweet 16, 4th of July party, call them up, mention the podcast, and you'll get 10% off on your party rental package. Not really sure yet what episode 4 is going to bring. I kind of just need to really soak in everything that went down today. Before we go, though, I think I might do a little bit of a giveaway with, not these ones because I like these ones, but I don't know if you guys seen these on social media, but I love the message of these, and I actually reached out to like their designer. So on the front, it says, "You are enough." And on the back, it says, "Dear person behind me, dear person behind me, the world is a better place with you in it." So I'm thinking for a future episode, I'm thinking we can, I'm going to reach out to maybe set up some sort of giveaway. And also, I'm super, super pleased to announce that, or not announce, but look how neat this is. So this is a Navigating the Noise t-shirt, which my friend, all right, was able to purchase for me as like a little bit of a gift to kind of see how it looks. So depending on how the next couple of weeks goes, we'll see with maybe some merch. But like I said, the purpose of this is not to make money, this podcast. It's just to inform, entertain, and spread a good word of, and message of love and good vibes only. Yeah, Frank, we're going to roll some out, Frank. What size you need? We'll see what I can do. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I love you all. Thank you for staying until the very, very, very end. Be a good person. Do a good deed. Hold the door for someone. Tell your best friend that they look good today. Be nice. Be kind. Be respectful. Feels good to be a good person. It genuinely actually does. So if you're someone who hasn't tried being a good person in this world thus far, at your very young, ripe age, try it sometime. Because it took me a long time to be a good person. But once I started being a good person, I really started to love life. Yeah, be a genie. I'll hit you up or I'll send you the link. Yeah, dude, I love the message of that shirt, man. It's such a cool sweatshirt, man. Probably gonna be wearing it like nonstop. I got a blue one and I got I think a gray one. Go Giants, kid. Is that the Swam? Is that Rosenthal? There's no way Rosenthal's in here. Swami, it's got to be him. I think it is. Yo, Aaron, if that's you, just say yeah. There's no way. Can't be. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. I love you all. Once again, thank you to Devin for being here. And also, I have a really, really big shout out to Miss Alicia Agate. All of those really cool designs and graphics and things behind the scene. That's all her. Like, I'm not going to sit here and take credit and act like a modern day Renaissance man because that is something I cannot do. And the best part about it is this girl literally does it like while she's got her 2 kids, feeding them, doing their hair. And then she sends me like this sick graphic within like 37 seconds. It's insane. So big shout out to her. This behind the scenes stuff doesn't happen with her. She was on at 6:30 tonight, making sure that the stream was up and all set to go. So love you, Alicia. Thank you all again, and I'm looking forward for where this goes. Zachy Z, signing off. Thank you all for navigating some noise with me this evening. Peace and love, yo.